She has built an award-winning multi-line insurance and financial services agency focused on helping businesses and families and individuals manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected and realize their dreams. That'd be me. She takes pride in hiring a diverse group of professionals from the local community to help build up the economy in Santa Clara County. Prior to owning her agency, she worked for over 20 years inside State Farm in management and as a business consultant. She graduated from the University of Missouri-Columbia, Missouri, what's in Mizzou? And with a degree in communications with an emphasis in radio, TV, and film. Mrs. Williams is active in her community as a member of the Santa Clara Rotary, where we got another Rotarian president coming up, Kelly. Yeah, stand up, Kelly. Kelly's the new incoming president for the Rotary in Milpitas, is that correct? I read Facebook. Milpitas. Our DJ, Mr. Henry, is from Milpitas. Let's give him a big hand. He DJs my events a lot. He's a perfectionist. You gotta watch him. She graduated of the class 2012, class of leadership, Santa Clara, and in leadership with the WNA Women's Networking Alliance. That's a strong organization. Strong organization here in Santa Clara County. She was also, and one of the co-owners will be our last speaker. Stick around, Tracy Stone Cold. Silicon Valley chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women in CBW, and San Jose alumni chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I'm not into sororities and fraternities, but I think I will be pretty soon. Because you know what? They wear my favorite color. What is that? Red! Uh-oh, okay now. We're talking about partnership up in here. Don't start no mess. I can't protect you. Her past board experience includes being elected 3 times to serve on a national executive board of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. In her role as regional director from 2005 to 2009, she served as chief operating officer for 90 chapters, from Alaska to Arizona, Oregon, and Okinawa. What? Washington to Hawaii? This is intimidating. Nevada to Utah, and Tokyo to the Republic of Korea, and throughout the state of California. I want to welcome a phenomenal woman, my mentor, my coach, my friend, and one of my prayer partners, Miss Teresa Williams. Woo! She's a bread cow. Oh.
All the time, those that know me, right? And that's why she put me in the afternoon to keep people awake after sweet potato pie and peach cobbler. Are you serious? Sweet potato, where do you go and get sweet potato pie and peach cobbler? So I'm gonna keep you awake. But the way I'm gonna do that is with some phenomenal women who will be a part of the panel, and we actually have a gentleman on one of the panels. But we're going to start out our panel with entrepreneur healthy lifestyles. Got to start with your health. It's all about taking care of yourself first. You know, when you're on the airplane, what do you do first? Put your mask on first, and then help your neighbor. So we got to take care of ourselves. And to help us have a conversation about taking care of ourselves, I would like to invite to the stage Melanie Hams. Give her a hand as she comes forward. Melanie is from the Santa Clara County Mental Health Department. PJ Jackson, Holistic Health Coach. PJ, come on up, give her a hand. Gloria J. Baxter, Licensed Clinical MSW Director of Lighthouse of Hope Consulting Services. I used to go to a meeting at Lighthouse, counseling, Hope Counseling Service. And Wanda Whitaker, CEO, Anchor in the Spirit Holistic Therapist. Welcome, ladies. So I just want to get us started with a very brief, like your 45-second elevator speech of kind of who you are before I ask a couple of questions, and then we'll open it up to all of you to ask questions as well. So can we start with you, Monica?
For some reason, I knew it was going to start with me. Okay, my name is Wanda Whitaker, and I am a certified hypnotherapist, visionary artist, and a holistic life coach. And what I do is help people to heal themselves through the arts and sciences, and I do that through a lot of different modalities. And the most important thing is for you to discover who you are and note that the body can heal itself. It is very capable of healing itself. So one thing that makes me a little bit different from other hypnotherapists is I do more of a spiritual hypnotherapy, okay? When I say that, I am going to connect you with that source, that life force that lives within you, that is so powerful that it can change your life just like a switch. I don't know, a lot of people go to church, I get that, but how many of you are really turned on to that power within, that you know, right? And so, what I basically do is go in and change your beliefs, because we have a lot of limited beliefs that are passed down from our ancestral lineage that we don't even know about, that we're unconscious about. And so what I do, I use a numerical mapping process, which is more or less like vibrational therapy, to identify those beliefs that have been passed down from your ancestral lineage to you that are preventing you from having the life that you truly want. And that is all a part of what we call epigenetics. And that doesn't, all it means is above the genes. Okay? I'm sure these therapists know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I just wanted you to know, before this, I had a career as a marketer. I had a marketing consulting agency for over 25 years. And then I decided to do this because I wanted to be on purpose with my life. Okay? Because one of the things you have to ask yourself is, who am I? And why am I here? And it wasn't until I really started asking myself those questions and I became very clear about my passion and purpose in life that I began to say, okay, what did I really want? I was sitting at a bar, right? I don't know, I'm gonna be real short. I was sitting at a bar and I said, what am I doing here? This is crazy in here with these people, when I could be doing other things, using my talents for other purposes. And then when I really got to know myself after taking a lot of courses on different modalities, different practices, I finally found out who I was, and I finally found out my purpose for being here. And it is to awaken people to their higher selves and greatest potential. And I do that through art. I do that through the hypnotherapy. I do that every day.
Hi, my name is Gloria Baxter. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I was licensed in 1989, and my favorite population to work with is teenagers, adolescents. Because I think as a teenager, that's the last opportunity you have to help them turn their lives around before they get into young adulthood and onward. I am the CEO of Lighthouse of Hope Counseling Center, which is located in Sunnyvale, California. We see people from all walks of life who have depression, anxiety, stress, PTSD, whatever they come with. And in the counseling center, my motto is, if you need counseling, you should be able to get counseling, whether you can afford it or not. So I have a sliding fee scale, and I have often done counseling for nothing, because the person really needed it. And my husband, when he was alive, he told me over and over, you can't do that, Gloria. You have to charge something. But I just think that people who need counseling ought to be able to get it. And I do have the sliding fee scale so that people who don't have insurance, but yet they need counseling, they can still get it and pay on the sliding fee scale. We are open Tuesday through Friday, and from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Monday is my rest day, Sunday is my church day, and Saturday is the day I do stuff like this. So I concur with my colleague here and the things that she talked about what people need and how they need to grow and learn to understand who they are and how to be able to develop that inner person. And I don't tell people, I don't advise people, but I help them to see who they really are, especially teenagers. People always say to me, why do you like working with teenagers? Because they have a special way about themselves. They're always very honest. And when I see a teenager start out as defiant, angry, depressed, and end up after a few counseling sessions able to get involved in school again, to have friends, that's my reward. I love doing that. I have been in business before. I had a counseling center in Fremont, California called Options for Life. And for those people who may be going into business, I want to say you can't grow too fast, and you can grow right out of your business. And that's what I did. I was there for 7 years, and it grew rapidly, but it only grew in the numbers of people who came to receive counseling. I had 5 therapists and an office manager, and the worst thing that happened to me was that I did grow too fast and grow out from under my own feet. And in 2007, I had to close it because I couldn't keep going. I had the clients, I had the income, but I didn't have all the rest that goes with business. So, and I was a for-profit, and I learned that nonprofit was better for what I wanted to do. So when I opened the Lighthouse of Hope, it's a nonprofit corporation, and by the grace of God, it's doing very well. And I'm thankful for this opportunity.
Hello. How many of you want to look younger and feel younger? I think I do. How many of you want to lose that weight without going to the gym 2 hours and counting those calories, okay? How many of you want energy, okay, and lose those aches and pains? Well, my name is PJ Ray, and I am a holistic health, nutritionist, and law of attraction coach. And I help you to feel good all day long. I have a question. How many of you take care of yourself before you take care of anybody else? And, well, this is really amazing because it's normally the other way around. And one of the things I do is I help African Americans and women of color to first take care of yourself. If you have a business, and I believe one of our lady this morning talked about what happens to you, what will happen to your business if something happens to you. And as a nutritionist and a law of attraction, I use various tools and to help you to understand you have to take care of yourself. Here's a little information. When you go to the doctor, and if you are a woman of color, they are not treating you. The information that they are treating you with and the medicine that they're treating you with are people of the opposite race, because that's the data that they collect. They do not collect data on African American or women of color. So you are getting fed the same thing that your opposite is getting fed. And guess what? Your DNA does not look like that. And you need to know that. So my goal in life is to help you feel healthy for the rest of your healthy life. And when you meet someone that said they're a nutritionist and they look at you, they look like you, look like you need to listen to them because they got information that the doctor does not have. And my doctor, when I go in, he asks me, what do you want me to do to you? I said, are you going to pay me? No. And the reason why he says that, because he knows my background and they do not collect data on us. I have clients that they will not do what I say because I wear a white jacket, but it says nutritionist on it. They go to that opposite, and then they come back to me after. They cannot help them, and it's almost too late because I have a client right now. She's getting her thyroid taken out, and she did not need that taken out. And I tell you, do not get your thyroid taken out. It is not necessary. The reason why I got in this business is because I was a hypothyroid patient, and the doctor told me there was nothing wrong with me. And this was years ago, and I went and got my certified license to do this and found out that I was hypothyroid, and he was treating me, and I was getting sicker and sicker. So just to let you know what, you can feel good, look good, and be good. Just make sure you get the right people to treat you. And as a nutritionist, I got information that the doctors do not go to school for. They take 5 days of nutrition, and that's about it. So, welcome to my world.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Melody Haynes. That question, who am I? That's a loaded question. And I've been struggling with that for the last few days. So I'm not going to answer that the way you think I am. Who am I? I am a black woman. I am a believer in Christ. I'm a wife, a mother, and I happen to have a job working for behavioral health services in Santa Clara County. That's what I do, okay? So that's a little bit about who I am. There's a whole lot wrapped up into who I am. I just wrote I'm sidetracking a little bit, but everybody else did, so I get to too. I just wrote a poem about the word jeans, and it kind of described a little bit about who I was. I am like a good pair of jeans. If you hang it, the person looking at it on the rack, they all right, but the buyer says, no, you fit just right. All the right places, you holding it in, up, and down. You can go anywhere you want to, dressed up or dressed down. I make you look good. I make you feel relaxed and comfortable. That's a little bit about who I am. I don't remember on the poem I wrote, but there you go. But just real quick, what I do, mental health, I work in the African American community to bring information about mental health awareness and provide, help connect people to services. One of the things that I do as an advanced level RAP facilitator, RAP stands for Wellness Recovery Action Plan, is to give you a tool on how to do all these things the other ladies were speaking about. Because a lot of times we don't have a practical way of getting those things done. It's take care of yourself. Okay, well, what does that mean? How do I take care of myself? What do I do? RAP tells us that we are our own best experts. I'm not a clinician, I'm not a therapist. What I bring to the table works alongside the clinician and the therapist, but it empowers the individual to take some things into control for themselves so they can empower themselves to maintain their wellness. It's built on 5 key concepts of hope, personal responsibility, education, self-advocacy, and support. I don't promote the idea of the black woman being a superwoman, because that means I'm here to do everything by myself. That's not how I was designed to work and operate. I was designed to be in relationship and to get benefit from other people, for them to support me and me to support them. And so that's what I promote. But I am my own best expert. I know what I need. Other people can't tell me. We've talked about earlier, what was it? Rewriting our own story. Those are my words. There were some other words that I can't remember what they were. But yes, changing the narrative. Thank you. We have the ability to change our narrative, and this tool, for me, helps me to change that narrative. And that can change on any given day, and that's okay. As long as you know what the narrative is. You know, because sometimes I wake up and it's like, I don't feel like doing this. If it's not something I don't have to do, that's okay. But if it's something I have to do, let me make a plan and figure out how I can get it done the best way possible so that I can move on to what I do want to do. So that's where I am. That's what I do.
All right, thank you. I came down here because I'm going to start the first question and let you start, and we'll work our way back up, okay? So the question is, what is that one sign that people can look for to know that they need help? One sign, if you all can share your thoughts on that question.
Okay, because of the work I do, I don't believe in just that one sign, because it can be a number of different things. When we go through and make a RAP plan, first we talk about what I'm like when I'm well. Because if you don't know what you're like when you're well, you're going to have difficulty determining when you're unwell. And then you're open to having other people telling you and looking for those signs of what they think your unwellness is. So what am I like when I'm well first? Then we look at things I need to do on a daily basis to stay well, things I need to do occasionally, and then we talk about what are my stressors. We identify those stressors, or they used to be called triggers. That could be a number of different things. So I'm a little reluctant to say that one thing, because one day it could be the child raising it, Mom, you forgot to do da-da-da-da-da. Oh my gosh. Another time it could be a supervisor. Your report is 2 days late already, then you're gonna have it on my desk. So I don't wanna say that one thing. And I would prefer that we as women look into ourselves to see what's going on with us, and that we would use our own voice, our self-advocacy, to invoke support from others. This is how I'm feeling today. Can you support me in? This is what I need from you. And a lot of times, I know where I was hesitant on using my own voice, didn't think I had one, because everybody came first. But when I realized that, oh no, I have a voice and I can use it, and it works, I can get what I need, then speaking up for myself to get what I need was the most beneficial for me. So I'm a little reluctant to say that one thing because it's different for everybody.
In my field, I look at 4 to 5 different areas. Let's say you try to lose weight and you keep gaining the weight back, you lose it, and you're thinking that it's something that you're eating. Guess what? Possibly not. It could be a relationship problem. It could be a job problem. And I'm like her, it might not be just one specific thing. I look in different areas, all different areas as a holistic. But one thing that might trigger you, if you have to say to yourself, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna keep on going. Let me just do it. There is something wrong. If you hear this little voice that says, I can go ahead and do it, most likely, no. You need to step back, meditate, then come and see me. No, I'm just kidding. No, really, you have to push yourself, and you know you're pushing yourself. That is a sign that there is something that's wrong, or there is a concern, because you shouldn't have to push yourself like that. There is something that's not balanced. We don't have a balanced life, but you can have a pretty good life without pushing yourself. So that would be the one thing I would say.
Well, as human beings, Black women, women of color, we're very complex. We're not just simply one thing. It could be many things that impact us from our early childhood on up to our adulthood. So I like to work with people and look back and see where whatever they're presenting with is the problem and where did it start, and how can we problem solve around it. But we are so complex, it takes a lot to look at people, particularly women, because women have so many different roles. As Melanie said, your wife, your mother, your parent, your teacher, I don't know how many different things. And because you are, that makes your life very complex. And your history is really important as a part of figuring out where you are, what's wrong, and how do we go about solving the problem. I don't solve the problem. The person really does know inside themselves what they need to do. They just need someone to help them bring it out. And so that's what I do. So as a complex human being, and I don't mind reaching out and asking for help. And I encourage people to do the same. If you think you need help, reach out to someone who you feel can help you, or you feel close to, maybe a parent, maybe a close friend, maybe one of these women here, I don't know. But as women, we are complex.
Okay, one thing I know for sure, that's a great cause of diseases is stress. Okay, and when you feel your body stressed, you know it's time to stop doing something. Actually, your body speaks your subconscious mind, all right? And emotions have a lot to do with diseases. And you can tell what's going on with you by where the discomfort is in your body. For example, if something is going on with your liver, then you have anger problems, okay? It has something to do with anger. Kidneys, fear-based. Let's say you have an allergy or something is going on with your eyes, then 9 times out of 10, you're not wanting to look at what's in front of you. Something is agitating you in your life. If something is going on with your throat, it has a lot to do with communications. Fear of speaking, perhaps you're gossiping, that could be another thing. Perhaps you're not listening. So it has to do with communication. If it's your legs, right, not wanting to move forward in your life. Where are you not wanting to move forward in your life? Okay? Knees, Flexibility, you're not wanting to be flexible. Your back, your lower back, has a lot to do, that's your foundation, right? Usually it's financial stress, right? It's financial stress. So if we all knew this and how emotions impacted ourselves, then we could just change what we're doing. We could change what we're doing emotionally, and guess what'll happen? All that will go away. And the doctors will never tell you this because they haven't studied. This is part of Chinese medicine. Mind, body, soul. And you have to integrate it all before you can even think about what's going on with you. Now, then there's the right side and the left side. If it's on the right side or the left side. So, but if you had this knowledge, then you would not, you would know what to do. When you went to the doctor, yeah, the doctor's going to prescribe medicine. And when you talk this language to them, they're going to think you're crazy. All right? Because a lot of them may not have this knowledge, even though it's been around for a while now, it's just not printed in the books yet. Okay, so I'm just giving you a little bit. If you have, let's say, for example, your hands are really cold and your circulation is bad, all you have to do is hold each finger until you feel it like throb, and then you hold the next finger until you feel it throb. You go around your whole hands, and your blood pressure will balance itself. Okay? All right? And don't drink any coffee before you go to the doctor.
Wow. Okay, so on that sliding scale, we just got a lot of wonderful knowledge, right? So let's give them a hand really quick. So we're going to make that sliding scale a donation to ODOS, right? We're going to make sure that we support her for bringing. I have another question, but before I go to my question, I want to open it up to see if there anyone in the audience that may have questions thus far. Now that you've heard from our panel of experts, there's a mic right there in the middle. If we would take the mic, yep, right here. Yep, if you just come to the mic right there in the middle. And if you would just please state your name so we know who you are and direct your question to the panel.
Hi, my name is Kai, and I don't remember your name, the first person, but you gave all of the different parts of the body except for stomach. So I'd like to know that connection.
Your stomach has a lot to do with the digestion. So you're not able to digest what's going on into your life. Okay? Digestion.
Okay, next. Your name, please?
I'm Sheila Stevens, and I want to address this to all of you, actually. It has to do with, first of all, mental health in the African American community, but in particular, depression. How hidden is it? And what's our level of community awareness about depression and how to deal with it?
Who would like to start that discussion?
I'll share this with Melanie, but you know, depression is a huge problem, especially in the African American community with males and females. I have a son who has been dealing with depression for quite a while, and the origins of depression can be many things. And I think that we do need to raise awareness, recognize depression as part of the mental health community needs, and then be willing to seek out treatment. There is treatment, and it's not always medication. If you go to the doctor wants to medicate you with antidepressants, which sometimes only make you more depressed. So you need to seek out a therapist, a counselor, a friend, or someone that you can talk to who would help you process through your depression. But it is a big problem within the African American community and the community of color. And many things impact that depression.
I would just add that it is very common. Most mental health issues are not ethnic specific. Mental health is across the board. And I think the latest statistic is about 1 in 4 have a diagnosable mental health issue, regardless of your ethnicity. And depression and anxiety are the top 2. And most of the time, our coworkers, family members are the ones, or even ourselves, are the ones dealing with it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be diagnosed. So, but there's a lot of help and support out there. That's what I do, help you get connected to the right services, and I look at all the services, not just county services.
Hi, my name is Teresa, and I wanted to ask all of you, in mental health, could that be part of depression or anything that follows? Can that be part of maybe a chemical imbalance?
There are mental health issues that are chemically imbalanced, and one is bipolar. That can be caused by a chemical imbalance. And there are several different kinds of depression. There's situational depression, which may be related to the situation you're in at the time. And if you resolve those issues, you're no longer depressed. Then there is clinical depression, which is absolutely connected to the chemicals in your brain. Medication can help that, but it's not a one-stop shop. The same medication that works for Bob won't work for Mary. So you have to be really careful about what medications you take and what's prescribed for you. And your symptoms.
That's an excellent question also. Thank you. Because that's, sometimes people are depressed and they don't know it. A lot of times that happens. But yes, sometimes there is a chemical imbalance with the melatonin and serotonin in the body. If you notice sometimes when the skies are gray and during the winter months, you have a tendency to be more depressed. Have you noticed that? That's why they have certain lights that you buy to help you with that depression. And so there are other chemicals in the body too. However, a lot of times that comes from, again, ancestral lineage. What's been passed down from your ancestors to you can be triggered in an environment where you don't even know that it's being triggered, that is causing you to be depressed because your aunt or uncle or great-grandmother something happened to them, and you are being triggered by a smell or something that you see that you don't even know. That's why you're depressed, because you're feeling the emotions that they felt when that happened to them. But sometimes depression can get worse and worse and worse. So it would behoove a person to go see someone, a clinical person, who can help them get out of that depression.
Hello, ladies. My name is Brianna, and my question is regards to being a growing, blooming, young entrepreneur who's in transition from doing a day job and doing a night job in a position where I'm in the work of people. And so what I see is that you all are in the work of people too when it comes to health and wellness and holistic coaching. And where did you find that point where you were able to find that success in your business that you were seeking when it comes to that people work, where we're not exchanging merchandise as much as we're exchanging that energy? So where did you find that turning point for you, and what would you advise for someone who's young and seeing what you all do and seeking to kind of follow that path, follow that lead?
So everyone's been saying their name. I'm big on marketing. You can say your name and your business if you're in business and promote yourself. So if you want, you're saying you're a young entrepreneur. So
Okay.
your name and what business you're in.
Well, I'm a holistic success coach, and I help people to transform their lives with health and wellness. So what we know, and we know in our communities, is that health, or generational health, is just as important as just generational wealth. And I'm helping people to transform their lives in many ways in Oakland. And the gym that we work out of is plant-based fitness. So if you all are interested, please come and talk to me. I'd be more than happy to share what I know, what I have. Thank you.
Okay, I guess some of you want to answer this question too, but first of all, anytime you have a business, there's fear, right? And there's risk-taking. You've got to be able to take a risk, and that is walking through your fear. So the moment you become fearful of anything, you have to walk into it, because it's false evidence appearing real. And once you walk into it, it disappears. So one of the first things, especially when I first started my practice, I have 2 offices, one in San Francisco and Pacific Heights, and then I have another office in Pacifica. But one of my first things was getting an office. And how was I going to do that? And then how was I going to get the clients, right? Well, she said something about the law of attraction. And applying the law of attraction to that can really help one. Because quite frankly, if you knew the law of attraction, things come to you. You don't go to it. Some strange thing happens, and I attracted my office by taking a hike. I decided to take a hike one day in Pacifica and ran into a woman who happened to be walking down the hill. I said, hi, it's beautiful, beautiful weather out here. She said, yeah, it's beautiful. And I kept running into her. And to make a long story short, but she owned the office building that I lease right now. I didn't know how I was going to get that, all right? But that's how it happens. But you have to be vibrating at a certain, frequency. And when you're vibrating at a higher frequency, you have a tendency to attract that, because everything is frequency and vibration.
We are all energy, and as the person was saying, Wanda, is that your first name? Wanda, we are all energy, and when we understand that we are energy, we vibrate at that level, whatever level. If you want money, money is just energy. Don't think of it any other way. You vibrate at that level. The higher of your vibration it is, the more you will receive what you want. I had to transition that too. And most of it is about your belief. With my clients, I have them to go through I call them muscle tests. And any of you can do this to yourself when you get up. I was going to have you to do it here. But you stand up and you put your feet directly in front of you and your hands to your side. And this will tell the truth if your subconscious believe you. And that's the most important. The subconscious is next to God, okay? And if you say your name, whatever your name is, I'm PJ Ray. If you feel a pull to the front, to lean to the front, we can't see it, but you can feel it. That means you trust yourself. It's a belief. But if you say my husband's name is Don Jackson, I'm going to lean backwards. Well, guess what? The subconscious, no, that's not my name. I don't believe that my name is Don Jackson. So if you have a situation that you have a problem believing in something, you have to trust your subconscious. You haven't fed your subconscious enough information to believe you. And how do you do that? Repetition. That's all you need to do. If you can't do repetition, start writing it. Whatever you want, write it down over and over and over in the morning and at night, and meditate. You can, once you know that, because they can't stop you then, you can receive whatever you want. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say something about that. When I first went into private practice as a licensed clinical social worker, I left a job in nonprofit that I had been working in for maybe about 15 years to go start my nonprofit, start an agency on my own. I had never had an agency before, but when I thought about it and decided what I wanted to do, all of what I needed, I had a friend, and I said to her, can I share the office with you? When you're not here, can I be here and take referrals from you and anybody else that's willing to give them to me? That's how I started being in private practice, and it continued to grow. I found a woman who was willing to let me use her office. She only worked in it 1 day a week. I had it 4 days a week. And she didn't charge me a fee for months. She charged me by the number of clients that I had. If I had 5 clients, then I paid her $5. So I grew that way until I got to the point where I could rent space of my own. But it was an idea that I had. And I prayed a lot and asked for God's guidance, and then I stepped out on my own faith and moved forward. And things came to me that I was surprised when they came to me, but they all came to me.
The whole panel speak on that question.
I kind of forgot what the question exactly was, but what keeps coming up for me is have a good support system. But you decide who you want to support you. You decide, what do I need from my supporter? You decide what that supporter is going to do for you. And you want to strive to have at least 5 supporters, because we don't want to burn people out. And we don't want to put them in a position where now we're creating something unhealthy, right? So we want to spread the wealth, share the wealth. But if you have a good support system to help you when you're in those, hit those rough moments where you're feeling like, I don't know, why did I choose this business? What am I doing in this business? Then your supporters can help lift you up out of that. We need a strong support system.
So, Melanie, I just have to tell you, the first thing you spoke about was you don't believe that the superwoman. And I'm in agreement, and you just kind of echoed that, and I would be remiss right now. You heard my bio, and it was like, okay, that's great, but it's not because of me, it's because of the people around me. So I want right now, you all to just look to the back and stand up, Renee. Yes, I'm putting you on the spot. I have a wonderful office manager that works with me and is part of my support, and thank you for coming out to help me this Saturday. And you, because you have to recognize the people who are your support, and you better have support or your mental health. Right? Am I right, ladies? Your mental health, you gotta have support. So I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge her in this group and let y'all know she's here. All right, we have 2 more questions, right here and right here, and then I have one last quick question. Okay, so go right ahead.
Well, good afternoon, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Kaya Heron. I'm the Government Affairs Liaison for the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Introduce yourself and lean into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Lean into it.
So my question is more of a statement and then a question. Normally people say don't do that, but I have to preface it. So one of the terms that we've heard as of late is toxic stress, and understanding the impact of stress on all of our body's systems, and understanding how having high levels of stress can impact all areas of your health. And so one of the areas that research has been done in has been the reproductive health of women and how it's affected by stress. And one of the populations that has been studied as of late is African American women. And researchers have come up with this term called weathering. And it identifies the impact of racialized and sexualized stress over the lifetime of an African American woman and how it impacts her ability to have children. Meaning that by the time Black women are 30 years old, they're almost past their prime childbearing age because of the stress of the effects of stress on their reproductive system. So I say all of that to say, what kind of strategies, techniques, or encouragement can we offer young African American women to counter those forces and to ensure that we can continue to be healthy as we go on, but also have healthy babies that have healthy birth weights and healthy life outcomes?
Who wants to tackle that? Anyone? Madeline.
Again, I would go back to the RAP tool, Wellness Recovery Action Plan, leaning on those 5 key concepts, because the way I remembered them is to put it into a sentence. I have the hope to take personal responsibility, to educate myself and advocate for myself for the support that I need. That's the 5 key concepts, so that gets me through everything. Then dealing with if I keep up that daily maintenance plan, that's the positive part of the plan, because that's what keeps me in wellness. After that, then I'm dealing with all the other negative stuff. What's the stuff that stresses me out? So I'm gonna make a list of that, and then I'm gonna write action plans for that. And I'm pulling my action plans from my wellness toolbox. And those wellness tools are things that I need to do to help me stay well and make me feel better. They're not gonna cause harm to anybody or myself, and they're not gonna cost me anything because they're not gonna be prohibitive for me doing them, right? So if calling a girlfriend is a wellness tool, then there are certain things that might come up that trigger me where I need to call a girlfriend. So I'm gonna make a list of different wellness tools. My creativity comes out with that. I'm a beater, anything with hands. I like to do, writing, it's just a whole list of things. But then after we deal with the stressors, we talk about early warning signs, internal things that come up when I know I'm off my game, but nobody else does. And we're real good at putting that facade up there. So people don't know what's up, but you know internally. So I create an action plan for that. Then when things are breaking down, that's when all my sisters say, ooh, girl, I noticed something ain't quite right with you, what's going on? Stuff is breaking down there because now everybody else can see it, but I have an action plan for that, and that can bring me back into wellness. The last step is the crisis plan, and that's when my supporters need to step in and give me the support I need to get me back to wellness. But I decide what the crisis is, not somebody else. Because the medical field has said what crisis is for us. And that's not always the case. When I was younger, family of 5, my washing machine broke down. That was a crisis. Because my kids had uniforms, and they had to be in school in their uniforms. I had to get to work. My husband had to get to work. It was a crisis that my washing machine broke down because we didn't have the money to buy a new one. Not a medical crisis. They weren't going to hospitalize me, but I needed help. I needed support. What was I going to do? At the time, we were in our, mid-20s. It was, Mom, Dad, our machine broke. Can you send us some money so we can buy a new washer? And they said, yeah, they supported us. And so the crisis was averted. But that could have, if it had not been handled, it could have melted down into something a lot more serious and more drastic and put us in a state that, could have caused a lot of turmoil in my family for months at a time, where it only lasted for a week and a half. That's a real lightweight situation, but the RAP plan can help you with major crises in your life as well.
I have my clients, we call it a DMA, Daily Method of Operation. What you want to do is that every day you get up and you don't really deviate from that DMO, especially the morning time. This is how it looks every day and you're having a good day. And you go and you look at that DMO. If you start deviating, you also have a journal. Every morning you get up and you say what your intention is for the morning. Now, when you start hitting crisis, you're going to look at your journal and you're going to look at your DMO. If you see something that's deviating from your DMO, you're going to see that there's something's happening to you. We also have a list, as you said, a list of people that I can contact. And those people are, you know, I contact my parents for this, this, and this. I got my best girlfriends, my best friends for this and this. And because if your DMO start to change, you'll be able to identify what's going on. Like you said, you are responsible for that. You will know what's going on if you deviate from that because you have a journal. And at night, in the evening, you look at your journal, you look at how your day went. And if something's different, then you can start seeing what's going on. I just had one comment, the lady that talked about, she said something about digestive system, and this is a plus for everybody. Do you know most stress, anything that happens, disease starts in your gut? 99% start. Your gut is really your brain because it feeds information to your brain. So, it's very important that you take care of that. And most of you, I will tell you, you're toxic. And the reason why if you're losing weight and you can't keep it off, you didn't get rid of that toxin. So it's just like you putting some oil, changing your oil in your car, but you left that filter on. So you gotta detox. And I don't mean a 7-day detox that you went out to the store and told me I'm detoxing. So I just want you to know, it is a digestive problem most of the time. As she said, you got a problem there. I just didn't let y'all know that.
All right, so we're kind of out of time, so we don't have time for that question. But one last question, it shouldn't take that long, is you all heard a lot of information, right? You see the wealth of resources before you. The question is, how do they contact you? I need just to say, everybody got your ink pens out? Everybody got your notepad and your ink pen out? You can give a website, you can give an email, you can give a phone number, but the one way, just one, gonna go down the road.
You can email me at wkw1111, that is the number 1, at gmail.com.
And that's one.
Yeah, Wanda Whitaker, wkw1111 at gmail.com.
My name, again, is Gloria Baxter, and you can reach me by email at gbbaxter@lighthouseofhopecc.org. And the CC is for Constable Center. That's G. Baxter, BAXTER, not XER, at lighthouseofhopecc.org. And I do have business cards if you'd like one.
I can be reached at P as in Paul, J as in Jones, PJ Ray, RHAE at gmail.com. And I can be reached at, no, just kidding.
It's best to reach me by email. It's melody.hames, melody.hames @hhs.sccgov.org. I have brochures I can leave somewhere too.
Okay, so actually you could have put that right in your program under their names. If you have a program, put that right under their names. But let's go ahead and thank this panel. Thank you, ladies.